For me, I was used to, you play a rugby, you go out after it and party, and then during the week I'd kind of go out to restaurants every night and have dinner out, and it was, I don't know, I had a different life I sort of lived. Obviously with COVID coming in, nightclubs are shut, bars, right, everything's shut, so you can't do anything. But even then now, we're like restaurants and cafes, everything's back open, but I've found I've hardly gone out to do anything, just because I'm in the habit of doing something. I've had in the habit of cooking now, and I don't know. I think COVID has probably changed me, but I don't know. I'd say it's made me grow up, but it's not really made me grow up. It's just made me do things slightly differently, I think.
Big fan.
Is it better if I get headphones or?
No, that's perfect, mate.
Good.
Hey, look at, bit different to last time, eh?
I know. Slightly.
Of course. How's things, mate? Long time. It's been nearly a year, and look how much I've aged. It's a disgrace.
I know.
I want to chat about Zebes. So Simon Zebo leaving. You and him seem to have been very tight. I mean, did you know Zebes before you signed for Racing, or did you just hit it off? Just naturally.
They arrived. They just got on really well. Like the first, so we both stayed in a hotel. I think he was the first week or 10 days, and I was the first 2 weeks in a hotel. Where we were waiting for our houses to get ready or to be ready. And so we're both in the same hotel. I was just out for a walk to try and find somewhere to get food, and then Zebes was out with I think Jacob. I think he must have had Sophia at the time. There's a couple of kids to walk around with them, and just bumped into each other. And we'd messaged a little bit on Instagram, but nothing much. And I hadn't met him since we both knew we were coming to Racing. So that was the first time properly meeting him in person, and apart from like after a game, just saying like, good game. But that was the first time meeting him, and we just kind of got on, had a laugh straight away, and then we were both in with the same kind of schedule the next week. I think we both turned up late for the first day because it wasn't clear in the schedule how we were meant to be and whatever. But yeah, now he's hit off, and then we actually went to Georgia for a 2-week camp, and we were sharing a room there. So we kind of always shared rooms. They'd always put us two together. So yeah, we kind of got off really well at the start, and then just kind of, I suppose, from sharing rooms and doing all that, and both being English speaking, living around the corners from each other. It just kind of grew from there. But yeah, now we kind of hit it off the start, so it's good.
You're gonna miss him?
Nah.
No.
Nah, I'll miss him. He's a big character to have around. And I'll miss having him here, but I think the whole group will probably miss him without knowing that they will. He's a big character to have around. He's always laughing, always joking, which is good for a club. Especially when you have long seasons over here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's good to have someone that can always bring energy and have a laugh, but perform in the field as well. So.
No, exactly. Without speaking for him, why is he going back? I mean, I think it was out there that Racing weren't that keen to keep him, which I think is ridiculous because of how well that he's played. And again, without speaking for him, is his appetite to play for Ireland again? Because there was even whispers around the British and Irish Lions tour that he might have been an outside bet as well. Yeah,
I think he's got to not have played for Ireland, but I think he does want to get back there and play for them. And I think it's been tough for him, maybe more so this year with COVID, with him and his family. He's got 3 young kids. He's not been able to get back to Ireland for the last year and a half, pretty much. So that might have put a factor as well. But yeah, no, I think it's funny when you chat to people from Munster, they love Munster, and for him going back there, he'll love being back there in Munster with all the boys, and for the family, he's got his mum and dad there, and for his kids to have the grandparents, it makes it easier for him and his partner. I think there's probably a few different factors of as to why he's decided to go back. Ireland being one, family, Munster, a couple others. But yeah, I think it will be a big loss for us here. And for me, I'd have always kept him. He's always playing as well as anyone else, scoring tries, and he's always got a smile on his face. So for me, I'd have definitely kept him. But yeah.
Maybe they saw the weight increasing with all the croissants, and as you get older, you struggle to keep the weight off. Not that I'm fat shaming anyone here. Finn, I'm going to go back to it. It's been about a year right now. Again, only watching from my studio, my garage, my sofa, watching the rugby, but watching yourself and keeping a close eye on you personally. I just feel like there's a big change in you. I don't know what it is, both on the pitch, but around maybe the social media stuff. You're not doing as much on there, that you're not as active. You're obviously back in the Scotland team. You were coaching. Your relationship with Gregor's back on. Has there been a shift? You know, without joking about, has there been a shift over the last year for you personally with your mindset and stuff?
Yeah, I think the last year was weird for me. Not weird, it was just different for everyone. And I think for me, I was used to, you know, you play a rugby, you go out after it and party, and then during the week I'd kind of go out to restaurants every night and have dinner out, and it was, I don't know, I had a different life I sort of lived. Obviously with COVID coming in, nightclubs are shut, bars, right, everything's shut, so you can't do anything. I was you're kind of stuck, or you know, you're stuck in your own house. So I had to sort of start cooking again and kind of get back into the habit of doing that, which I didn't mind because you had loads of time in your hands. But even then now we're like restaurants and cafes, everything's back open, but I've found I've hardly gone out to do anything. Just because I'm in the habit of doing something. I've had in the habit of cooking now, and I don't know. I think COVID has probably changed me, but I don't know. I'd say it's made me grow up, but it's not really made me grow up. It's just made me do things slightly differently, I think.
No, exactly. What do you do in your spare time then?
To be honest, I don't do much. I'm just, like I say, my routine's not changed that much since COVID, even with restrictions lifting a little bit. And before, it didn't really, like I said, it didn't affect me that much. I would go out to restaurants and things like that at nights, but that would be all because I live here on my own. In general, I'll come back from training. By the time you get back, it's maybe, I don't know, 4 o'clock, 4:30. Have a quick snack, play some PlayStation, make dinner, play some more PlayStation, or watch some telly. That's about as exciting as it gets, unless there's one of the boys is keen to go for dinner, and I'm like, yeah, well, nothing else to do, so I might as well come along. I tend just to live a very chilled life Monday to the game.
Oh, mate, it looks good from where I'm sitting. I was at the Lions camp last week. I don't know if you saw me. I was doing some interviews there. It was quite nice. Yeah. Did you see me?
I didn't see you. I saw a post you put up.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah, I should have did.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should have done.
I'll double check now to make sure I like it.
Yeah, please do. Jim Hamilton 4 for anyone that's wondering. So for me personally, to be down at the Lions camp and watch the lads obviously in camp, there was a bit of a weird feeling again. I don't know whether that's because the game is now uber professional and the kind of landscape's changed, or COVID or whatever, and it was a media day and all that, and obviously you lads had just got together. How was it? How were the formalities when you all met up? Was it weird? Was it a bit easier this time, 4 years on?
I wasn't there.
Oh, were you not?
I thought you were there, so you don't know. I wasn't
there.
No,
I didn't see anyone. I didn't know if you were there or not. That's what I mean. I thought you would have come out to see me. I didn't know who was there, so I wasn't in the room with the guys. I was sat outside, so I didn't know who was there.
Oh, no, I wasn't there because of the travelling from France to the UK. I wasn't. If I came back, I had to go to quarantine. When I came back to the UK and then coming back to France, I had to quarantine again. So I wasn't able to get back for it.
Oh, you missed it. You missed the media. You missed the formalities. You missed the getting all the kit and all that stuff, all the fun stuff.
Yeah, well, Gemma, the team manager, she said, well, we've got 150 tops to send over to you to get them signed and sent back. So I'm looking forward to that bit.
That's fine, mate. Send them to me, mate. I'll sign them for you. But how is it with the Lions stuff? Was there any worry at any point?
When I was building up, I was kind of like, oh, you know, whatever, what will be, I can't control it. And it was the same 4 years ago. I had a slight hope I might have got there and didn't get there. And this year I felt I was in a stronger position, but at the same time, I was like, well, it all comes down to one guy's decision pretty much. And if he wants you, he wants you. If he doesn't, I'd kind of accepted it either way. If he picks me, then it's amazing. But if he hadn't, then that's sport, you know, you take the highs with the lows kind of thing. And we're sitting watching it in the training centre, and then obviously my name got called out. So no, it was brilliant. But I think I don't know, it's the weight that almost kills you. It's the weight, like you know when it's going to be announced, and then the day's building up to you, kind of wait and just like, oh, you just want to know either way if you're in or if you're out. It's almost not the it's not the selection or being not selected. It's more you just want to know that kills you. So yeah, so it's a long couple of days kind of waiting on it, but then it's worth it in the end for the boys selected. So
No, it is. Yeah, I think there's a real romance around it. And then for you personally, I think you look at the form thing of Scotland as a whole, and I think what's been really positive for Scotland is that we weren't speaking about you after every game, whether you like that or not. I think that's a real shift for Scotland, because we've now got a load of other players that we're not reliant on. You know, we were so reliant on yourself and Hoggy. We actually are, I feel, in a much healthier place. But I think for you and your evolution, the Lions tour is obviously a huge evolution for you, having toured 4 years ago, but to be more involved, more in the mixer.
Yeah, I think the last tour I went on, I was there for 10 days, and it was great and an amazing experience to do it. But it didn't feel like for me, it didn't feel like an actual Lions tour, because you're not, you get called in, you get told you're only here for 10 days and you're back out. So it's a different kind of mindset you went in with. It was kind of like, I'm here to, to help out if needed, but it's not potentially pushed to try and get a start or a test start or anything like that. You're there just for 10 days for the 2 midweek games, then back home. Whereas this time, it depends if we get to the final here, that's the same weekend as the Japan game. So for me, I'd probably, if we get to the final, I'd just fly straight back to Edinburgh, I think, then direct straight out. So that would definitely, I wouldn't have met the boys until we're pretty much in Japan or in South Africa. But once you're there, it's kind of, everyone's there competing for positions for the midweeks and for the test, and everyone's, you want to win these games, but they're kind of trial games almost for the test, I'd imagine. So I don't know, maybe I have to pull out a few backdoor passes, a couple of left-footed cross-field kicks. I don't know what I'll decide at the time, depending on the game. But no, I think it'll depend as well on how we want to play against South Africa, and then how you then play those first couple of games. For me, I've spoken a little bit with Gregor about the attack shape and what we're maybe looking to bring in. Obviously, I've worked with Gregor a long time now, and I've worked with Steve at Scotland. So for me, I should be able to fit in pretty easily into the attack and defence systems, which I think for myself and the other Scottish boys will be a big, big positive for us that we'll know straight away.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you mentioned the way you have to play against South Africa, and the way that you play. And some people might say, look, running it from your own try line or whatever, or loops over, or balls out the back door, or heel kicks through, might not be the way to beat South Africa. Now,
it might be.
It might be the way. Look, it might be the way. Look, mate, you're speaking to a non-expert here. But are you comfortable with that, in terms of knowing that you're going to have to potentially change the way that you play in order to fit in with the style of what Gatland and the other coaches, but knowing that, there could be a place for you, whether or not it's on the bench or whatever, to come on and kind of be who you are?
Yeah, for me, I think there'll be times in the games to kind of, to set up a kick or kick off 9 or kick off 10. There'll be times to do that. Obviously, you have to do that in these international games, and that's one thing I maybe did more with Scotland this Six Nations. Against England, I kicked the ball a few times more, or not, I kicked them more, but more sort of tactical kicks, just turning them around, putting the ball behind them. And same against France in the last game. There's a few times that I think Ali, he was under a bit of pressure on the box kicks. I was like, just chuck me the ball and I'll put one up. It's as simple as that on the pitch. You can have these small conversations when you need to adapt and change things up. And whether that's going with that plan into the game of us, up to the 40 metres, we kick the ball, and actually thinking, right, now we can play it now. Right, we need to just change and play. So I think against a team like South Africa, though, the game plan, I'd imagine it'll change in the game as well. Whether they get ahead or if they go behind in the way they start playing. And like I say, that's something that we'll come on to later on in the tour, and we'll get a feel for that as to how Gatland thinks best to play against them. They've got some of the best. They've got Willie Rowe, Chesley Colby. So if we start kicking the balls to these guys in the back field, then you're going to be under pressure. Then if you try and take them on, they've got a few big boys up front. So I don't know the way England played them in the final. I can't actually remember the game, but that's maybe not the way to play them. I can't really remember how they played them, but whatever that was might not be the way to play them.
A lot of talk about the selections, and we're chatting about it a bit here about how you beat South Africa. It's the $1 million question, isn't it? So when the team came out, and you're obviously looking at the names, you probably were in a bit of a haze, waiting for your name to come out. Would have been near the end, obviously. Any names that stood out for you? I'm not expecting you to give your opinion on selections, but Bundy Aki's one. His name came out first. People were like, wow, I didn't see that coming. But actually, when you look at it, you could see it coming. So I mean, what are your thoughts on Bundy Aki being picked?
Yeah, I think there's talk. I saw talk about Tuolangi getting picked, and I think Bundy Aki and Tuolangi, they're similar kind of players. I've played against Bundy a good few times with Glasgow and with Scotland, and he'll bring that physicality, depending on how we want to play. If Gatland wants to go with a 10 and 12 ball players, then you're at 13. It'd be good to have a bit of size there so that you can, in defence and attack, you can use that. I think you'll bring a lot in terms, like looking at him when Scotland played Ireland this Six Nations. He's trying to bring a lot of energy on the side of the pitch. Again, it's different, as I don't think there'll be fans at the games this year or this tour. But having that energy will help in these test series when it gets down to the test matches at the end. But also his physicality in attack and defence, he's so explosive that he could be a real threat for South Africa in attack and defence. I've never played with him, so I don't know what he's like, what he offers on attack and defence. But from what I've seen, with the pace, power, and the defensive benefits he brings, I think he could be a really good decision to have at centre.
Is there any players that got picked that you were like, yeah, he is class? You're looking forward to playing with him or seeing if it's the real deal. Lewis Rees-Zammit, young lad, obviously he's going to be carrying Bill and Ted. What is it, Bill? Is it Bill? Is it?
Yeah.
Bill, the famous lion. But I think there's a few people. Do you know what I mean? Is there any one way? When you looked at it,
Rees-Zammit, I'm looking forward to playing with him, seeing what he's like. He's obviously electric on the wing. For me, I like hitting a few crossfield kicks for the wingers, so I'm looking forward to see what he can do with them. But also the work he can do off the ball, whether it's working inside 10, working round to the outside. These kind of things will make a big difference in the midweek games, but then also in the test matches. And if you've got options inside, outside, with the likes of let's say Duan, Rees-Zammit, who are such threatening wingers, if you've got options with them, South Africa are going to have to sit in them and take those threats seriously. So I think I'd imagine that'll be a big focus for the games. Will be the work rate around 10 and on the edges and getting up and running those races, as well as the short kicking game. We'll have to use that against them. So for guys like Rees-Zammit, who's he's like I say electric, and if you can get him on the end of a crossfield kick, then you'd back him to score every time. Who else I like? Sam Simmonds, obviously the top try scorer in the Prem, and also a lot of chat around him. But I'm looking forward to kind of hearing from Hoggy and Johnny about these kind of Exeter guys. I'm looking forward to linking up with them, seeing what he's got. For me, the 8's a bit of a link player between the forwards and the backs as well as the 9. So I'll probably have to have a good relationship with the guys at 8 to make sure it all kind of flows smoothly. You'd imagine that we'll be looking for him to carry a lot in the midfield, and also use him for kind of decoy runs. He's almost like a centre, the way he can run, the speed he's got and the power he's got, and it seems like he's got decent hands as well. But at the same time, he's got the strength and the size of a forward. So I'm looking. I'd imagine if I had him and Hamish in the back row, that's a very mobile but powerful back row. Size might not be there compared to the, everyone's claiming that South Africa 150 kilos each. But I think that the mobility of that back row, them getting around the pitch, that will cause a lot of problems.
A lot of talk around Chris Harris. I picked him because I'm a non-expert off the back of his physicality, his defence. That game against France, mate, he was class. How he shot out the France attack.
No, he's great. I put him a good few times. Obviously, with Scotland, he's a good guy, really good guy. But as defence, I'd say that's one of his main strengths. But I think this year's Six Nations, he proved in attack that he's got a bit of X factor there. If you look at I think it might have been against Wales in the first half, he made a couple of line breaks. And like you say, big defensive performances, which against South Africa, you're going to need that against some of their guys. And I think he suits the defensive system that Steve Tandy will want to put in place. Allowing boys to kind of have a bit of free rein on the edges, pushing up to where they think they need to get to, and closing off the attack. So I think defensively, he'd be one of the strongest that we've got in the squad. And for me, I think he deserves his position there with the way he played in the Six Nations.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how we've just sat here, Finn, and we've spoke about how we are going to beat South Africa tactically. I love that. They'll be listening to this. Razzie will be listening to this and be like, look, I think Jim's just solved it. with Finn Russell, the Maverick, at the helm. So, no, Finn, mate, absolutely love chatting about that. I love to see you looking relaxed with your top on, like you mean business. But before you go,
first to finish, so I can go outside in the sun and get your top off.
There you go, mate. We'll
tied up that jungle.
Send some pictures and tag me when you do that. But I'm going to just ask you some quick fire questions, right? You've got to answer them, and you've got to answer them rapid.
Okay.
I've got 9 or 10 in here. So are you ready? You can't pause on them, so you just got to go with what comes to mind straight away, okay? Right. Rangers or Celtic?
Oh, Jones.
Just paused.
Still on Albion. I don't know.
You got to pick one. You can't veer. You just got to pick one.
I can't decide on that.
You have to. You got to pick one. Whatever one comes to mind first.
Oh, Rangers, because I've got a flat close to them.
There you go. Stuart Hogg or Simon Zebo?
Zebo for the crack.
Dogs or cats?
Thank that all my Hoggy that I've said that.
I know. Dogs or cats?
Dog.
Oasis or Blur?
Oasis.
Relationship or single life?
Relationship.
Are you in a relationship?
Yeah, so I'm going back out with Emma, the one that I was going out with. When I first moved over here, we split up, then started going back out again. So, but she lives in Montpellier, so I still live here on my own, and she's down in Montpellier.
Lovers apart. Hair implants or go bald gracefully?
Bald.
Good lad. Whiskey or vodka?
Vodka.
Favorite show on TV or movie at the minute?
Lupin.
Favorite song right now?
Oh, Gita Gita.
Red or blue?
Blue.
Hashtag back in. Finn, there we go. A bit of fun at the end there, just to make me enjoy my day a little bit more. But I really appreciate that, mate. Genuinely, I'd love to see, not that I didn't love you before, but I think, it's a big year for you. It's a big couple of years, and I want to see you thrive. I'm sure you will, and I wish you all the best down in South Africa. Whatever happens down there, mate. Obviously weird times, but no, I really appreciate you chatting to me, bud.
Thank you, Jim. Good to chat.